Alright, welcome back to Phantom Gaming. Today in Kerbal news, the Kraken has attacked the rescue mission that was sent to rescue the rescue mission. That was also sent to rescue the rescue mission, which was also sent to rescue the rescue mission. Yeah, there's a lot of rescuing that isn't going on right now, so we are going to see what we can do about rescuing all of the rescue missions, including the original crew that went on a test flight and got stranded on the Mun. So I did a lot of testing of a rocket, a lot of testing of a rocket, and it seems to work, but I'm not entirely sure. We are going to find out. So what I did was I took this rocket that is going to take a very long time to zoom in on. I should just keybind to super zoom. And I put the landing pods right here with ladders that will, whoops, let's not move that. That will go to the ground and probably clip into the ground. But we won't talk about that. So this seems to work. The concept is there, but we're gonna find out. So I'm leaving the drills on, and I'm also leaving the ore and the ore processing unit so we can get the fuel we need to be able to slow down coming into Kerbal orbit, or Kerbal atmosphere. I forgot to take that off, so we're gonna do that. And then another change I made to this that I apparently did not save was putting a lot of parachutes right there, and then scaling them way up, so that way they actually slow down enough that I don't have to really worry too much about it, but time will tell. So we're going to try to rescue all of the rescue missions and the original crew that got stranded. None of them have jetpack fuel left, so I made it as convenient as possible with plenty of room for everyone. And we're going to see what happens. If it'll load. There we go. Now the only thing I don't remember is if I left fuel in here. I did. Okay, good. We have plenty of fuel. We have all of the things. And I gotta move this down into here. And if I remember correctly, I changed all of these to the extra atmospheric. Alright, so that should be all set. 3, 2, 1, launch. Oh, it would help if I accelerated. There we go. Alright, so in all of my tests, this has worked every time. So hopefully in the real thing, this will work all of the time. I also thought it crashed. I was convinced that I broke the game again. It's a very common occurrence, apparently. But nope, I just forgot to accelerate and bring the throttle all the way up. So, no more mistakes. That was my one mistake. That was it. This is going to go swimmingly smooth. We're going to get all of the Kerbals home, and they're going to have plenty of stories to tell. I'm hoping good stories about me rescuing them, not the fact that I may or may not hold responsibility for stranding them in the first place. So when we hit about 69,000 meters, we will start our orbital burn. And then we should be at a good place to be able to get an encounter with the month. So the other thing I changed on this was the engines. You can see them, there we go. So I scaled the inner one up a little bit so it's a little bit bigger and has thus more thrust. And we are at where we want to be. Bring this down, zoom in. I'm going to go ahead and make a maneuver node there or here. And it doesn't look like it's at an angle, so we should be good. So I will accelerate just a little bit more just to get our apoapsis up above there. So by the time we get there with our speed up, we should be in a good place, roughly. I should also change my maneuver positioning to the maneuver node. And finish the acceleration. Oh. Accelerate. I said accelerate. There we go. We're almost there, and close enough. Perform this burn. And what I should be doing is actually making my additional fuel, because that will take a while. But I want that fuel and the fuel-powered engines to make this initial maneuver, just because you see all the red right there, that basically means I screwed up. I don't have enough power to accelerate at the speed that I need to accelerate in order to make the burn in the time that I need to make it. But we don't talk about that. We ignore that fact, and hopefully this will work out in our favor, and we're moving around. Again, I'm not using the monopropellant and the RCS to keep control of the rocket, just because I want to save that for when we enter back into Kerbal atmosphere, because this rocket tends to be a little weird with how it... Oh, I burned way too long. And now I'm spinning. Go ahead and stabilize that. I should, in theory, be in orbit. Close enough, I'd say. So we are technically orbiting. I will accept that. Now, what I want to do is come over to here at our apoapsis, make another maneuver node, and drag that... Nope, wrong direction. Let's put that back. Drag this out to here. And then if I bring it all the way out to the Mun encounter, or Mun orbit, just a little bit beyond, I should be in line with it. And then I can bring it over until I get my encounter. So somewhere in here we will be encountering the Mun. So I'll change the maneuver. And once I get into the Mun orbit, we should be okay to make all of our adjustments in association with proper landing. And while that's maneuvering its way over to there, I'm going to come around to here. I'm going to start shutting down these engines so I can save that fuel. So now that's not going to burn that fuel anymore. It's only going to be the electric engines that are right here. And we're going to go ahead and warp to our maneuver node. Slowly, very slowly. be good. We'll wait until like 20 seconds or so. There we go, and now we're going to start this burn using purely electric engines. Sure. Elon Kerbal will be, or Kerman will be proud of me, using all electric. The other thing we have to take into consideration is the fact that all of this red is pushing me ahead of my entire maneuver burn. So I may not make the encounter in the place that I think I am, but that's okay, because at least I will make some form of encounter. I can always adjust from there. Almost. And good. Alright. We have our encounter. Ish. We'll get rid of that. I think that brings us to here. If I were to make a maneuver, actually I gotta target it, don't I? So set as target, and then add maneuver. Nope. What about here? Get rid of this one. Right here, add maneuver. 2 rounds. I mean, it kind of puts me right there. I almost want to say that that's exactly what I should do, because I'll get this encounter right here, which will be really easy to get orbital maneuvers out of it. So let's go ahead and try our luck here, because all of the bad things could potentially happen. Oh, I had an encounter right there that I could have used. So now okay, I do have an encounter, so we're 1 minute out from that burn. We're going to go ahead and get over to our maneuver position. And I think we're going to basically crash into the mun. Yeah, we're going to crash into it, but that's okay. What's the worst that can happen? I feel like I've said that a few times during the course of these lives, that I have repeatedly stranded Kerbals on the mun. However, the last stranding was not my fault. That was the Kraken. 28 seconds from burn. I'm going to wait a little bit longer for this one, only because we don't have a whole lot of red right here. And I think we're going to be in a good place. Go back out here, take a good look at Kerbin. Can't talk today. It's also 1,000 degrees outside, and also 1,001 degrees in my office. So we're gonna go ahead and burn now, because I was not paying attention. Seems to be a reoccurring issue. So we're getting close, we're getting closer, we're getting closest, and we are... Whoa, we are all sorts of all over the place. Why are we all over the place? Are we supposed to do that? I mean, I can work with any of these that have happened. But I think I'll accept the one that's coming up. Only because I feel like it should be better. I think that's where we need to be. Alright, so we have that. I'm hoping this works. So I'm going to add a maneuver here. Go ahead and do that. And get that directly to where it needs to be. Because we have a supposed orbital pattern over the mun. So now I'm just going to go ahead and warp to the maneuver and hope this works. feel like it's gonna rocket me out of here. I mean, I could just crash into the mud and see what happens. Nah, we're not doing that. We're gonna actually rescue these Kerbals that have been stranded for a while. We're not gonna talk about how long they've been stranded for. Seconds to burn. I guess that's close enough. Bring that over to there, and we have orbit around the month. So I'm actually going to stop it right there, and then get rid of this one. Do another maneuver here to round out nice and close. There. And then go ahead and warp to the maneuver. Now we are, where is it? Oh, there it is. Found it. Big rock. So we're right where we need to be. I'm going to go ahead and time warp just a little bit. I want this about as exact as I can get it. It's a decent sized burn, 128.9 meters a second. So it's sizable-ish. I also forgot to put my solar panels on a hotkey. Oh, I am missing my burn. That is like the 4th or 5th time at this point. There we go. We have a nice semi-close orbit around the Mun. So we need to change our orbit to be over where the Kerbals are stranded. So I think we actually want it right about here. I'm going to get rid of that one. Add maneuver, and I'm going to bring it this way, so we are basically over them. So in theory, I should be able to see them from space, or at least the crater that they're in. So I'm hoping this will also work. There's a lot of hoping things work, but it seems to be working so far, so I'm not going to question it. So we have gotten to our maneuver position. We're going to go ahead and time warp to the maneuver. And then we'll let that adjust itself again because it's off just a little bit. Rapidly moving. Warp complete. I'm going to let that do its thing. So they are over here, and we are over here, and we're up here, but we need to be down here, so that's what we're going to work on. I may as well go for the burn now. What's the worst that can happen? Basically there. We'll get rid of that one. I think we can bring our orbit down just a little bit more. So I'm going to go ahead and spin around to retrograde. I want to be as close as I possibly can, because I believe they're like over here somewhere. Go to the map so I can get this exact. We're going to bring it in a little bit more, and right there. And then we're going to create a that should actually be pretty good. Do this again. I know I'm spending a lot of time in the map screen just trying to work on these maneuvers, but there's really not a whole lot I can work on from right here. Although it is a very nice view. I could potentially do this entirely manually, but I have to go to the map anyways to see exactly where on the mun that everyone is stranded. So I'd end up there anyways. I'm gonna go ahead and warp to the maneuver. I'm spending a lot of time on the dark side of the moon. I feel like that's a dangerous place to be. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. Is the dark side of the moon a dangerous place to be, or is it nice and safe? Now we're 47 seconds out. I'm gonna go ahead and speed up a little bit. I need to be as exact as possible with this because we're starting to get towards the mun's gravity well and really pulling in. Hey, how you doing, Lev? Oh, and I just missed my burn again. That is like the 5th or 6th time so far. You wanted to wait till you're nice and cozy to watch? That's fine. Hey, as long as you're comfortable. We're gonna go ahead and perform this burn that I am very late for. And then stop it and double check to make sure I didn't screw up again. And because we are so incredibly close, I feel like we need to move down a little bit. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and warp to here. And let's see if we can see anything on the surface. I have connection to them. They are around there somewhere. So technically I am definitely not on the right axis. So I'm gonna go here, make a maneuver. And I'm gonna bring it down ever so slightly. Until I am hopefully entirely over them. I would like this one to actually land in the crater exactly next to the craft that was attacked by the Kraken. I'm not entirely sure how late I'm gonna go. It is Saturday. We do have a storm rolling in, and I'm also very tired. As most of you know, I work with horses for a living, so they are very exhausting sometimes. However, I am not going to stop being live until I have rescued these Kerbals. I am bound and determined to rescue them this time around. I said that the past 3 live streams. This time I mean it, I think. I'm going to bring this to an exact... I'm going to pay close attention for the next 6 seconds. Oh, I need to swing around to my maneuver. And I screwed up on that again. Yeah, I also like storms. I enjoy listening to them. Now, I have all of the respect for lightning, firsthand. But I do enjoy listening to it. Alright, we are late for our burn yet again. However, we should be okay. So I think that brings us pretty much there. We're going to warp to here again. Whoops, wrong button. Get rid of that. We're going to warp to here again and see if this is a better line. I mean, it's there. It's definitely there. So let's let's see if we can see the crater where they are. We're moving that way, so I think they're in here. I do believe. Yeah, so they are, in fact, in here. So this is going to be our target. So I'm going to pick a random piece of scrap, set it as target, go back over here, see if, yeah, it's definitely there. So I want to go to here. Oh, I'm burning. I should not be burning. What did I do? I did bad things. But I am still directly overhead. So, oh, I'm actually really well placed, so we're not going to mess with that anymore. So I'm going to put a maneuver node right here. And then you just sent your app to join the Discord. I appreciate that. Welcome in. I'll have one of my staff members go ahead and accept it for you. Yeah, no, I was having issues with the invite system. It was giving me a hard time, and that is all fixed now. Now, I think if I... way in here, should be able to actually get a pretty low pass. We're going to warp to it. And we're going to adjust. Hey, welcome, Cam. You're not too late. I was late for my own live. I got stuck at the farm a little later than I expected. So, I did a lot of testing just to catch you up. Did a lot of testing of a rocket that seems to be working very well. It has not failed in all of my testing, and I've made some adjustments to try to make it all work properly. So this should, in theory, work without any issues. I hope. I am bound and determined to rescue the Kerbals, and I am doing everything within my power to make that happen. Yeah, I do know how to make the invites so they don't expire. The link that I had originally made was set to not expire, but then expired. And so I submitted a bug report to Discord for that, because that wasn't supposed to happen. And now it's all fixed. Oh, and I missed my burn again. I very consistently do that today, apparently. Yeah, I think I have the audio adjusted just about as good as I can, unless something reset. It's always possible when you're working with games. Some of the things tend to reset or change on their own, volumes included. I'm not going to name the game, but there was a game that every time I logged in, it would reset all of the volumes to max, and I'd have to readjust them. Yeah, I got really close, but then that Kraken attacked, and you know, now we have to figure out if that's going to be a thing, or if it has moved on to some other planet. But we will find out. However, I will say I am getting relatively okay-ish at somewhat kinda sorta faking the landing. I'll leave that reference open. Alright, so we are on our descent burn. Oh, I am way too far. Swing it back around. And we're gonna burn back out and redo that. Or at least try to regain our encounter. Yeah, mission control is very worried about a lot of things, especially when I walk through the door, apparently. They told me today that they were a little bit concerned about my success rate so far during these missions. And they're starting to wonder if I should be in charge of these. We're gonna go ahead and warp over to here. I don't see anything wrong with that. So we're getting a connection there. So I'm gonna go ahead and spin it around retrograde. And if I play my cards semi-correctly-ish, I should be able to very carefully bring this up slightly. That is moving very quickly. But we're doing semi-okay. I am definitely lower than I wanted to be, but that is okay for now. I really just want to land in that crater. So as soon as I get to like right over here, I'm gonna go to the map, out of the map view, and just kind of eyeball it and hope I get it. I am getting a little bit low for my comfort. Yeah, so the ladders are actually possibly a little too low. They might clip into the ground now. However, the way this is designed, it should be okay if I have the landing gear down, the landing legs, and they should be able to jump up to it. And I left them at stock size, so no more shrinking the Kerbals. So we are ready for contact. I'm going to speed this up just a little bit, just so I can make... We are very low. I have concerns about how low. We're almost over it, so I'm actually going to speed that up even more. Bring that way in. We're not quite where I want it to be, but we can adjust. So I'm gonna go out of the map view. This is the crater right here. They are all like right over here, so I am not where I want to be. But I'm not gonna argue it. I'm just gonna make it happen. I'm okay with crawling them out of a crater. Go ahead and swing that RCS on here. Stabilize for now. Going this way with it. Get those landing legs out. Yeah, the old ship can be used for a waypoint. That's pretty much what I was doing, is just using the scraps for it. So we're coming over here. We're going to go ahead and burn this direction. And then swing it around retro. Yeah, it is a chunky rocket, but it works. I can't really argue if it works. You know, so we're coming in a little hotter than I want to, so we're going to bring that speed way down. We're going for a center landing. Center-ish landing. Oop. Had a little bit of lag there. That's never good. And I'm not one to do quick saves and then retry from closer. I don't really think that's you know, the best way to do it, but that's just my preference. Yeah, the lag is the bait for the Kraken, that is for sure. Now let's hope the RCS doesn't screw up this landing like it did like 6 other times. I'm actually going to change these to ground tether. Everything is ground tether. Okay, so when it touches ground, it'll grab it. Alright, we're coming a little hotter than I want to be, so I want to bring that back down a little bit. But we're getting close. I'm going to bring it right to about there. So I've set this up so I should be able to impact at about 8 meters a second and not have it do a whole lot. But I'm still going to try to bring it down to like 4 or 5. And let it ride there. This rocket is, I think, 32 meters high. So let's see. Oh, we are landing on a hill. I don't like that. So we're gonna go back up. I see a piece of a rocket over there. So if I go to the map, am I in the right place? I think I am. Pretty sure I'm in the right place. Yeah, I'm in the right place. I'm in the right crater. Where are they? Is that them over there? That might be them over there. Yeah, I'm gonna try to move more towards the center of the crater. So I'm just gonna kind of hover around a little bit until I get over there. I mean, I can float for the most part. I have plenty of electricity. Oh, I don't have a whole lot of electricity left. Go ahead and aim camera. Get these solar panels out. I did not find them. Extend and extend. Reset camera. Still not quite where I want to be, but we're still kind of floating around. So I'm almost thinking I want to stop moving that direction. We're going to go over here. We're going to burn. We're going to stop burning. And now we're going mostly in the right direction. Yeah, I need those solar panels out. I was not paying attention to my electrical use, and I could have been charging this entire time, and I've been burning this entire time. So those solar panels are out. They are charging the batteries, I think mostly. Nope, we're still going down in power, but not as fast. So I think I'm gonna accept this landing spot wherever we happen to land. I'm kinda sure it's flatter. Alright, sounds good, Lev. Good luck with it. Yeah, so I'm pretty sure that is, in fact, the rocket involved with this mishap. So I'm gonna bring that to there. We're gonna go retro with this. Burn a little bit like that. Just to... what is this doing? Why are we doing this? Why did we just do a 360? If I go retro, it should keep me facing the direction I'm going, which is down. Ooh, this is way too much movement for my liking. That's okay. I think this should be a decent-ish spot, even if we have to run the Kerbals over here. Yeah, Rock is doing gymnastics alright. I'm gonna chance it. I'm gonna chance this landing. I'm hoping this works. I have no idea. It is definitely at an angle. But I also don't want to mess around with it too much more. Okay, bye. And that's what RCS does for you. Well, that happened. And you know what? We'll deploy the parachutes just because we can. I'm gonna go ahead and accidentally revert this. We are not stranding more Kerbals. We're gonna try that again. Yeah, the entire lower stage just yeeted itself across the mun. Very dramatically. I mean, that was a full-fledged fireworks show. So I think I'm going to make a slight change. Very slight, not a whole lot. So I have a mod that lets me expand it to just about infinite heights and dimensions. And I have the option to select when I build the game to either have the building or not have the building. Having the building puts a semi-limit to it. Not having the building lets me basically build indefinitely in any direction. So this is not a bug, this is intentional. Mostly because I had no idea how big the rockets were going to end up getting. But what I am going to do, while I am here, like a smart person, because I'm smart, is put way more solar. I'm going to put the solar down here. And we're going to add that to the action key. So group 1 is toggle solar panel. So we're going to select that. We'll take those out. Same vessel. And extend. Because apparently I'm not allowed to retract them either. Find out what happens with that, but we're gonna at least add that to it just because we can. That's the drill. That is also the drill. This is the land. landing struts. We have action group 5. Now, I think my biggest problem for this entire thing is actually this. We don't have enough wings. There. That should do something for us. And the other thing I'm going to do is add in, where is it? Let's see here. That's not it. That's also not it. Ah, here we go. And we're gonna scale this down. Put that in. Right here. Over here. Remove it in here. And just like that. So I have a lot more fuel. Yeah, I know how to hide fuel tanks inside of rockets. That's for sure. So this is going to give us more fuel if it doesn't decide to blow up on the launch pad. I have seen this work. I have tested it in the past, but I don't know if it's actually going to work again. But I definitely need more fuel. And that being said, I should probably switch that back to here. So those out, and also, oh, those are on the engine. Okay. Move these out. Move the engine out. And put a bigger engine. Let's go with size. So we're at the biggest at the top. I could do something like that, but I mean, I could do that too. That might work. No, I'm gonna go with, I think somewhere around here there was a relatively large. Yeah, so I put twice as many solar panels, and this time they're on an action group, and I can extend them all at once. And I'm also going to extend them when I get to orbit. I'm not going to forget them this time. Yeah, so somewhere in here there's an engine that has a very large amount of thrust for how small it is. I just don't know where it is. This is it. Yeah, this is it. Get rid of those. Bring that up. Put that right there, and then scale it up again. Up one more time? No. There we go. And then we're going to take that same engine and put it right there. And then those are going to be what they are. So it's slightly heavier, but it's also stronger. There's the word. Wow. I'm doing great. Then we're going to stick these on the engine bell because they have to stay nice and warm. Yeah, I don't really get too bored with the KSP soundtrack, but I mean, basically, it's something that YouTube's not going to get mad at me for, so I can't really argue that. Alright, I think that is everything. Let's go ahead and test this on the launch pad to see if having those fuel tanks on the inside are going to cause it to do bad things. Hopefully not. Hopefully it just works the way it's supposed to. Yeah, so it looks like it is in fact working the way it's supposed to. So I have a lot more fuel now. So we're going to switch that to SAS. We are going to toggle mode on all of these. And I'm not going to use those just yet. I'm actually going to scroll through my list of parachutes and pull my other engines out of the parachutes and into their own action group, because I forgot to set that. So we're going to add that, drag those to here, drag this one foreshore to here, and let's see what that does for us. I'm also going to just test to make sure the solar panels go out properly. You vanquish all the Krakens around this rocket. Yeah. Yeah, no, that was rough. That was very rough. I am slightly disappointed in the Kraken's behavior. So my solar panels work, but will they let me retract? Oh, of course not. So now I'm gonna have to go over here. Yeah, so about how I can't actually retract those now. Okay, so we found another bug. That's okay. We're gonna launch this just like this. See what happens. I apparently don't have enough power to get off of the launch pad. I should probably also pay attention to my thrust weight ratio as well. I wonder how much I have to burn for it to actually move. Let's fast forward time a little bit. Oh, it shuts off the engines. I think I just... There we go. Switch those on. And we'll see what happens with this. I burned a little bit of the fuel trying to get off the launch pad, but that's okay. Solar panels are breaking. Because those won't retract, nor can I select them to retract. How do I remove from simmering? Oh, status broken. Alright. We're going to try this again. We're gonna not flip around. Yeah, no, they did not survive. They are actually broken. Status broken. And now they're causing the rocket to flip around. So I'm going to revert flight to launch. No, that was the wrong one. I'm going to revert the flight back to assembly, and I'm going to go ahead and do what I thought I could do and just add the retract and extend to the same action group. And then hopefully that will so toggle same vessel, extend. And that's about all we can do. Okay, so those are broken somehow with a mod that has been there. We'll just kind of go along with it and go with that. Enable same vessel, toggle same vessel interaction. I'm not sure why, but you know what? We're gonna add that in there. And we're just gonna go with that. But we're also going to do one more thing. Because I like having backup plans. We're gonna go with this. We're gonna... How big can this get? Oh, geez. We're not gonna go with that. So I'm thinking... You think it's too small? Yeah, no, I am kind of curious as to how big they actually get. So we're going to switch to this, and we're going to go all the way. And see how big they actually get. Still going. I mean, we could launch a solar panel into orbit. I feel like something might happen with that. Yeah, that is huge. That is massive. Yeah, that can power more than cities. I think that can power an entire country. So let's go ahead and throw some actual solar panels on this just to have them on the vessel, just in case. Because I feel like something's going on with these. So why don't I change to these? And then check out what this does now. So this should be the correct action group. So we're going to toggle same vessel interaction, toggle solar panels. That's what I was looking for. So there's a bug with the mod that gives those massive solar panels, that's all. No, I really don't think that's overkill. I think we should definitely at some point try to launch a solar panel of that size into orbit and just see what happens. Maybe attach a satellite pod to it. Alright, so those solar panels are on an action key properly now. But just in case, we're going to add... We're going to make those bigger. I like those. I don't like those. We'll do that. Oh, that's interesting. We're gonna go with square. And bring it up in size. And we're just gonna add a bunch of them, just so we have them. The immortal satellite, yeah. Yeah, no, that's something we can do at a later date, but for now, I really kind of want to try to rescue those Kerbals. that I had nothing to do with the stranding of. But this should work. We definitely need bigger engines, though. We really need bigger engines. So we're going to sort by size. Bring the biggest at the top. And I think we're going to go with... There's got to be something in here that has more thrust. I mean, I could do that for the center. Oh yeah, that's right. Oh, bad things. Put that there. Put that there. Get rid of that. Change that. There we go. So this has 4,000 thrust. This has 2,000. This is already... Well, it's basically there. But the next size up is not something we can work with. But we can also go with this, which is also 3,000, but the next size up isn't something we can work with. However, this one right here that's 2,000, I can bring that up and, okay, that is not, no, we can't do that. So why don't we go with... I think these are the ones I already had. No, we can't do that with that one either. So we're going to go with the 3,000. We're going to stick that on there. These, I feel like we can also go with the 3,000s. Kind of. They don't look the best, but yeah, it works. We need more thrust. But with that, we can also take these and stick them right here. And then stick these around here somewhere. Come on. There, wait, we almost had it. Oh, we had it again. There it is. There we go. And I think the ladders are still on them, and it's in the wrong place, so we have to try that again. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, we are definitely hoping for the best. None of this makes any sense. I'm just adding stuff continuously until something kind of works. So let's see here. What are we forgetting? Let me know in the comments what you think I'm forgetting, because there's got to be something I'm forgetting. But in the meantime, I think that's all. All right, let's go ahead and launch it. Let's see what happens. All right, turn SAS on. Oh, the stabilizers? Yeah. I mean, I definitely have to do this before I forget. Because I don't want to find myself accelerating at a much lower speed in the wrong direction. Alright, and I forgot to put these into their own group again. We're not going to talk about that. At least I remembered this time. You think this is the rocket that that actually works? I hope so. I really hope so. Alright. We are launching in 3, 2, 1. still need the other ones. I was hoping we didn't need the other ones on this one, but that's okay. So far, so good. Nothing broke yet. I really do enjoy these volumetric clouds. We're just in a non-cloudy area currently. But as we accelerate into the atmosphere, you'll see over there, I think there's a storm over there. And it does rain, and it does have an effect on your rockets. And there are puddles on the ground that have reflection, so there's a lot to the Black Rack volumetric clouds mod. The latest version is available on his Patreon. I don't know if there's still a free version on there or not, but worth it to go check it out. And speaking of Patreon, I actually have one now. The link is at the top of my YouTube page, along with the link to the Discord server. Feel free to check those out at any point. So we are reaching about 20,000-ish. We're definitely not accelerating as fast as I would like to, but at least we are accelerating in the upward direction this time. There's a little bit of movement, but that's okay. Yeah, so you can see over here, that's a storm, that's a storm, that's a storm, and that's a storm. And that's a storm, and that's a big storm, that's a massive storm, and that's another big storm that is probably moving over the Space Center. Very large storms. Yeah, no, they really do look amazing when they're passing over and when you're passing through the clouds. It's a lot of fun to do. I'm glad I actually installed that mod. But we are reaching 50,000 meters. And nothing has broken yet. There has not been any splody boys yet. However, we are definitely not accelerating as quickly as I was hoping, and the electric charge is going down much faster than I was hoping. So what we'll do is once we get into orbit, we'll actually recharge the batteries completely, and then we'll make our maneuver to the Mun, and then recharge them again. And then we should be okay. We have reached space. I'm going to let the apoapsis pull out a lot further. This time around, we do have plenty of fuel to do that with. And then we can make our maneuver. We'll make it at 1,000,000 meters. If there's anyone watching from UK or anywhere in Europe that uses the imperial or the metric system, 1,000,000 meters. How many miles is that? So we are getting close. 900. There it is. There's our 1,000,000 meters. We're going to bring the acceleration down and add a maneuver node somewhere in here that it lets me. Come on, let me. Got it. Add maneuver. Round. However, we're not going to do that kind of round. We're going to bring that to here, and then we'll make another one, let's say about here. Add maneuver. We're going to bring this up, about there. Actually, I think that's a little bit too far. We'll bring it to about there. There we go. And we will adjust to the maneuver node. One million meters is 621.371192 miles. Okay, wow. That is a very precise number. I appreciate that, Cam. So we are going to go ahead and warp to our maneuver. Let's go ahead and see if we can find... There's the MUN right there. That is our goal. We're not going to talk about the number of Kerbals that are stranded on it. Where is... There's Kerbin. So we're going to time warp just a little bit, get down to about a minute. There we go, and we are on our maneuver positioning and burn. It is a very large burn. Tell mission control it's 0.7 Kerbals, not 7. Yeah. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's 7. I'm not... I can't remember. I know there have been 12 that have gone. There are not 12 there now. We're not going to talk about why that is. There's a lot of movement. Let's turn that on just to kind of see if I can control that a little bit more. I'm not entirely sure how I feel about the gimbal on the engines. That's doing all sorts of fun things. I am in orbit now, so I'm going to slow this burn down just a little bit. Go to the RCS. Yeah, that's true. There is one that is still stranded there. That got stranded last time because of the Kraken. Alright, and that just about does it for this maneuver. That gimbal on those engines, I should probably lock those down. Oh, and I just burned way too much. Alright, so now we go to our next maneuver node. So far, nothing has broken off, so we're doing okay. Take care, Pascal. Yeah, it's like 3 o'clock in the morning for you. Why are you still awake? Okay, we're 43 minutes away. 1 minute away. Yeah, 3:17. Yeah, Cam, you and me are in the same time zone. However, Pascal is not in the same time zone. He is very much so in a European time zone. We're 30 seconds out from this burn, and I want to be as precise on this one as I can because this is the one that's going to get us our encounter with the MUN. Seconds. 2, 1, and burn. Let that settle back out for a second here. Burn a little bit more. Close enough. I think we are almost flat. I feel like I should flatten this just a little bit more. think that puts us right about here. Add another maneuver. I'm gonna bring it up just a little bit. That should be good, I think. Switch over to our maneuver position. Close enough, so I'll go ahead and start that burn. Just enough to bring it to a decent flat. That's good. Alright, so we are definitely still perfect. That's okay. We will figure that out when the time comes, but in the meantime, what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and deploy the solar. Because we need power. A lot of power. And our charge is going up. Nice. And I'm going to go ahead and start making our fuel. And in the meantime, I'm going to turn these engines off. Did I already shut this one off? Yeah. There, those engines are shut off. And I don't think I can... yeah, I can't really... I mean, I can. I just did this. So let's go ahead and turn off the gimbal on these. We'll turn the gimbal off on that. So that is locked in place. That cannot move at all. So that should solve that problem. Now if I can find Kerbal, there it is. The electric charge is actually going up pretty well. But I am going to fast forward time just a little bit and get that charge all the way up, but we're also going to do a thing. This is a warning for those of you that don't do well with flashing lights. Close your eyes. And I'll let you know when you can open them in 3, 2, 1, and close your eyes. Again. So it's just burning through the rest of my ore to get as much fuel as I can get. So now that that is done, where is the mun? There it is. So I think I want to be right about here. I'm going to add a maneuver. Drag that out to there. Wow, I was almost exactly that. I'm definitely much higher than I should be, but that's okay. So now I want to bring it around until I get an encounter. Right about... I think that would be around here, yeah. That's a decent-ish encounter. So if I were to add a maneuver here to circle, will it let me circle? Yes, it will. Okay, perfect. So now we're gonna swing around to our maneuver positioning. Yeah, we are almost at the mun. This time around, we are going to land exactly where we need to land. We're not going to land on the side of a hill. I know that's a big ask on the mun, but inside of that crater there is a flat spot that the other one landed on before it decided to be attacked by the Kraken. So that's where we're shooting for. I'm going to try to land directly next to the existing ship that is in pieces down there now. We're going to go ahead and warp to our maneuver. And we're a minute and 10 seconds. I'm going to fast forward on my own for a few seconds here. Bring it down to about 15 seconds. Okay, 20 seconds works too. And we are going to burn. We are only using the electric engines now. I turned off the liquid fuel engines just to conserve the fuel there for re-entry into Kerbal atmosphere. It's a very long burn with very small engines that have a lot of power. Definitely overpowered, but I'm not going to argue it because I'm using them. We're getting very close. Halfway there. Balance out a little bit here. I don't want to screw this one up. Almost. And there it is. Haha, I win. Alright, so we're going to close that one out. Why is it saying we are no longer going to orbit? I feel like something happened here. I didn't click on that. Did I click on that? Get rid of that. So let's go ahead and set as target. Somewhere in here we're going to have an encounter, so I'm going to go ahead and add a maneuver node and circle this, and that's not going to work. Yeah, they are very, very willing volunteers. Wonder what happens if I go right here, add a maneuver, and hit the circle. Still over there. But it's somehow over there. Yeah, sure, we'll accept that. Because at some point, somewhere, there's a circle over here, mostly. Kind of. We're gonna move around to our maneuvering position. We are still using a lot more electric charge than we are producing at this point. However, the MUN has no atmosphere, so I should be able to just leave them out. And we should be okay-ish. Why isn't that moving over to there? I feel like this needs to happen. Well, I guess this is just where we are for this one. So we'll go ahead and warp over to the maneuver. Yeah, we did get a Kerbal eclipse. What just happened? Alright, I'm not gonna question it. Because somewhere in there, something happened that gave me some form of encounter that I could have worked with. So we will accept it. So I'm gonna warp time just a little bit. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. Oh, it wants me to start my burn already. Hit tab until it focuses on the rocket. Yeah. We had something going on there. Oh, this is something I can work with. I feel like something's happening over here somewhere. And I should probably... Ah, here we go. There's something I can work with. What do you guys think? Should I take this or should I keep going until I get to where I was planning on being? That gave me the almost circular. It does look promising, but at the same time, I almost kind of want to keep going. So, we're going to work with this and see what happens with this. So now, this is going to bring me to here. So if I... Over here, which way is the exit? That's the exit. If I go right here, add maneuver, circle, bring it around. We're going to try for it. This looks very promising. I mean, I can carefully calculate everything and do perfect maneuvers and, you know, spend the time doing all of the things, but I kind of enjoy just kind of hoping that things work out and just doing the things haphazardly. Alright, we are at our maneuver position. Let's go ahead and warp to the maneuver. And there it is. So we have been captured by the Mun's gravitational pull. I think this is actually going to line us, not quite line us up perfectly, but close enough that we can work with this. Alright, so we are in our maneuver position. There's the Mun right down there. So, burn in 35 seconds. I'm going to go ahead and speed that up just a little bit. And to there. And 5, 4, 3. Oh, it wants me to burn now. And we have orbit. Judging by the movement of the camera. We have reached an orbit of the Mun. I'm going to drop that down now. There it is. We're a little bit further out than I wanted to be, but that's okay. So we can get rid of that now. Yeah, it's a very interesting position. I'm not entirely sure how that happened, but I'm also not going to question it, because where I currently am seems to be a good place to add a maneuver. Bring this up. That looks roughly around flat-ish. And I can jump over here. I can see that it's slightly lower. Oop, I moved that way too far. Let's try that again. Add maneuver. Roughly. There we go. To here. That looks decent right there. Little maneuver over there. We're only 3 minutes out from the maneuver node, but I'm still going to fast forward as soon as I adjust the position here. 1 minute out. I'm also going to do this one as exact as possible. And burn it. Alright, we are pretty much there. So now I want to bring our apoapsis down. So I'm going to warp over to the periapsis. Do the mathematics of the math. I didn't do well in math. We're gonna go retrograde on this. The math isn't mathing. That is a very bright sun. Why does the sun have to be so bright? Oh yeah, it's a fireball. It's a big ball of hydrogen burning. And somehow keeping itself from imploding into an explosion through nuclear events. We're gonna go ahead and burn a little. Hit all of the wrong buttons. There we go. We're gonna switch back around and fix this so I don't screw this up even more. Out. There we go. That's a decent height to be at. And I am not where I need to be. That's okay, we'll figure that out. So we're going to jump over to the periapsis. Around to retrograde, and we're going to bring this back down. So we are back to orbiting very low. Because I still want to try to land in the crater, and I want to try to land directly next to the lander that's already there. Alright, so let's go ahead and start that burn. I might land above it. Yeah, if I keep on the plane that I'm on, then yes, I will definitely land above it. Alright, so now if I warp to... Actually, what I want to do is I want to bring that down for sure. I might have to do a polar orbit for this one. So I'm going to do this, add maneuver. Yeah, I'm going to have to do a polar orbit to here. And that should get me pretty much exactly where I need to be. So warp to the maneuver. Yeah, the angle of the orbit is not where I was intending for it to be. But we're going to make this work. Now we are a minute out from that burn. We're going to go ahead and switch over to our maneuver positioning. I'm going to take all the time it needs to do that and do it properly, because I don't want to screw this up. Because I think I have this pretty much not exact. Okay. Bring this way. Here. I know this is going to keep changing as the Mun orbits and spins, but we're still going to try to make something of it. 14 seconds out and I'm still making adjustments. I'm going to adjust that here. And burn. All of the bad things are happening, but I think that may possibly do us some good. So we're going to go ahead and change to here and put that just a little bit higher. I was hoping that would work. Yeah, there's 3 different vectors of orbit involved with all of this. More. I am moving way too quickly for this to work, so I'm going to bring that back out. And I'm going to try getting this again. But I'll wait until we're just beyond the periapsis to do so. Thought of a thing. Bear with me on this. If I come to right here, add maneuver, and then shift it, we might be able to lower our overall orbit to where we need to be. Our maneuver positioning. I don't know why I didn't think of this earlier, but that's okay, I thought of it now. We're 35 seconds from burn. I feel like that's almost entirely in line. Go ahead and start my burn now. I think that pretty close to puts us where we need to be. I almost want to do one more right here, and then just like that. So go here. I still think we have proper orbit around. Yeah, we should be okay. I'm gonna go ahead and orbit us all the way around again. Hope nothing bad happens. So I think that will actually put us right where we need to be. It will not. So I actually need to bring this up slightly. there. And if I burn now... that should put us in line to roughly be able to get rid of that. Can't time warp so far. How about now? Warp to here. We are going to give this a try. Because this is... it's still not quite on the plane that I want it to be on. Because I'd have to be like right here, roughly. And in order to do that, I'd have to make a maneuver like over here. We're gonna go retro. And we're gonna bring it in for an attempt. This is the first attempt. With the periapsis being so close to the landing spot, I feel like we should be okay. So now I'll warp to here. So there's not going to be a whole lot of movement. So I think we're actually in line. We're going to keep it at retrograde. We're going to bring this in to about roughly here. Now if we warp to here, there's not going to be a whole lot of movement. And I think we're getting very close to being where we need to be. And as we reach our orbital position, we can almost see the crater that they are in. Right there. Set as target. I think this is going to put us pretty much there. I feel like this is the crater right here. Yeah, so I was thinking the same thing. It needed to go back a little bit more, but I think this is where we want to be. I'm pretty sure that that's the crater. And we're definitely going fast. Yeah, that's the crater right there. So we're going to start burning. We're actually going to turn the center engine on for this one. And there is our crater. Burn hard. There we go. Landing gear out. And stop spinning. RCS on. Stable. Yeah, it's this is a very tough one. This is an incredibly hard place to get into. And I'm going to end up landing on the edge of that crater. So what I want to do is go ahead and bring my speed down. Change that to just stability. And arc this over. Give myself a little bit of movement away from there. That should be good for that. And then go this. Like over there might be a better place to land anyways. I'm still gonna end up landing on the side of the hill. Bring that up. Bring that over. Bring that over there. This going this way. We're gonna very gently ride over towards this little area right here. I think we're on a good track. And I'm also gonna keep it going up a little bit, just because I would rather take the time to fall back to the surface than end up having all sorts of issues. Yeah, let me know in the comments if you think I'm gonna land it or if I'm gonna crash it again. Why is it doing this again? Why is this doing this again? I swear, this crater has some form of force field in it that is keeping it from actually being able to function correctly. Going up, not sideways. I really wish this would decide what's going to work and what's not going to work. Just stabilizing it would be great. I have plenty of monopropellant left and somehow the systems aren't working correctly. Not letting me control the ship at all anymore. At all. Like zero control of where the ship is going. So I'm gonna go ahead and grab this, activate all. Gimbal limit all the way. Okay. Alright, well, Titos is now stranded on the Mun with the rest of the Kerbals. Well, in testing, that rocket worked very well. I did multiple landings with it in this very crater, and apparently there is something going on with it somewhere, somehow, in some way that is not allowing it to work now. So we'll add one more Kerbal to our list of stranded, and I guess we're gonna have to save that rescue for another day. That being said, thank you guys for watching. Yes, the aliens are thwarting our plans for rescue. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe. The subscribe is free and it helps me out. I do have a Patreon. I have a Discord server. You guys are welcome to join both of them. Feel free to reach out if you have any questions, and I will see you on the next one.